Hey, folks, we're back for another extended education moment. And I have to admit something, first of all. This is going to be maybe less of an education moment and probably more of like an inspiration, motivational moment. Just to hopefully kind of light a fire under you, make you think about things in a different way, maybe motivate you to kind of tweak your game a little bit whenever it comes to networking and specifically the networking group. And so I'm calling this one Total Networking Mastery. And let's just dive right into it. What we're going to start with is three really important quotes. At least I think they're important. They're things I've come across this week that really made me think. Here we go. Here's the first one. The first one comes from comedian Kevin Hart. He said, "I don't want to be successful by myself." The next quote is uh, from the book "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff," and it's all small stuff by Dr. Kevin Carlson. And if you haven't read it, it's a great book, easy read. Check it out. One of the chapters, he says, "Your intention, especially if you know it's only for a short while, immediately strengthens your capacity." And finally, really great quote from me is don't spend good effort doing bad work. So what we want to examine now is how these experts, if I can throw myself on the list, how these quotes play into your networking experience, your mastery of networking, your ability to really take it to the next level, and what you can do to really like squeeze every last drop out of your networking experience and your experience in the chapter. Now, I'll be the first to admit that there's been days in the last 5, 6 years that I've been doing BNI where I'm not always feeling it in a meeting, or, I'm not always excited about the next one-to-one or the next meeting or anything like that. And then there's other times when like I'm totally pumped. I'm just charged up about it. I'm excited to go. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to like feel the energy of being with other people and connect with them. A lot more often, it's the second way than the first way. But one of the things that, as I reflect, is that the times when I feel a lot of energy around BNI, it's because things are going really well and I'm being successful. And then other times when I'm not as much, it's maybe things aren't going well for me in the group or in my life personally or in my business. And so those things kind of spill over. So these three general quotes, they aren't just about your BNI participation, they're about your whole approach to life. And if you apply them to networking, I think it can make a really big difference in how you feel about what your direction that you're heading, the work that you're doing, the relationships that you have with people. And so let's kind of dive into some of these a little bit deeper. So this first one, I don't want to be successful by myself. So I don't know if you know anything about Kevin Hart, but Kevin Hart is one of the most successful comedians in the world today. He tours all over the world and he has his own production company. And he started out as a kid from, maybe not the best home, and like they didn't have a lot of money or anything like that. And so he really kind of has clawed his way to the top. And one of the things that's interesting about him is when he made this quote, what he was alluding to was the fact that he has a goal to become a billionaire. He wants $1 billion in assets. And the way that he sees that he can accomplish that is that he has to help other people to become millionaires along the way to becoming a billionaire. And so he says that he doesn't want to be successful by himself because he wants to help other people, have that same growth. Because what he finds is that when he invests in other people, they in turn invest in him. So what does this mean in a BNI context? I listed some things here. There might be things that immediately came to mind to you. Leave those in the comments, or let's talk about them because it's not just limited to the things I have on this list. But a few things that came to mind for me were number one, get a mentor. Now, mentor, I think sometimes becomes sort of a dirty word, and it really shouldn't be because the kind of the culture in our chapter has been if I get a mentor, it's because either I'm new and I don't know anything, or I haven't been performing well, and I need some help, or I need somebody to kind of shepherd me through. But the fact is that if you know anybody who's really, really successful in any field, they have a mentor. It's one of the smartest things that you can do if you want to be successful at anything, whether it's a sport, a business, parenting, whatever it is that you want to do. Really successful people have mentors. And so find yourself a mentor in the group, in another group. It's a really good practice. Also, you can be a mentor. One of the best ways to learn something is by teaching it. So you'll find that you'll gain energy and a deeper understanding of what's important and why it's important by helping to lift others. Build a power team. So when you are surrounding yourselves, similar to what I was talking about with Kevin Hart, surrounding yourself with people that you want to be with you as you rise to your success. Those people are going to invest in you, and you invest in them, and many hands make light work, and it makes the lifting easier. And so a power team doesn't necessarily have to be, hey, we're in the same industry, we service the same kind of people. It is any group of people that can basically keep you going, hold you accountable, pump you up. They give you the good ideas. Some of the people that I form power teams with are not in the same industry that I'm in, but they're people that they hold me accountable as a businessman, as a networker, as a friend, as a leader. And so that's a really valuable power team. So think about who does that for you and approach them about developing a power team. Meet on a regular basis and talk about your goals and push each other. And that's the next thing. Find somebody who's going to challenge you. I think we tend to find people who we're comfortable with, and finding people that you're comfortable with can sometimes be a trap, because if somebody makes you comfortable, then they're not pushing you to be the best you that you could be. And so find somebody who's going to challenge you, hold you accountable, make you uncomfortable in a positive way, and that could be really valuable. And be a leader. Step into a leadership role. Even if you don't have an official leadership role in the chapter, step up, ask what you could do, get involved. Those types of things will let everybody know that you have that giver's game mentality, that you want to be there and help other people to rise, and they will help you to rise as well. So this next one, your intention, especially if you know it's only for a short while, immediately strengthens your capacity. So what does that mean to BNI context? Well, one of the things that we always talk about is, oh, the meetings are early. They're early. Oh, yeah, I never would have thought that I'd get up this early. So if it's an uncomfortable time to get up, then when you show up, you need to show up on purpose. You need to show up with intention. And so that means that the word intention implies action, right? And focus. So when you show up to the meeting, show up on time and show up on purpose. Like, what am I doing at this meeting today? Am I just coming to kill the time? Am I just coming because if I don't come, there's going to be an absence? Or is there a specific connection that I'm looking for? When you show up to the meeting, know what you're looking for, know who you're looking for, and have a real like plan of action for while you're there. Most of the people that I've talked to who have difficulty in BNI, maybe they've struggled to find business or to find referrals to give or with some other aspect of it. Most of them, if I ask them the question, what are you looking for? Like, what are you trying to get? They don't know. They might say, well, I'm looking to get more business. Okay, so what business? Like, what kind of business are you looking to get? What kind of customer are you looking to get? And they just honestly have no idea, right? They want everybody, they want all of it. They're not dialed into a specific person that they're looking for. And so you have to be intentional. Also, be a listener. When you get in a conversation, listen with intention. When somebody else is talking to you, engage with them with the purpose of understanding what it is that they're saying. A lot of times, if you become a really good listener, then everything else that you need to do and how to do it just falls into place. And so, like during a weekly presentation, if you're being intentional about sitting there and listening and you're just really focused, then what you're going to find is that your capacity to find people referrals is strengthened and increased. Our top referrer is Marty, and she accounts for a quarter of the business that gets passed in our group. Now, I've heard people say, well, it's because of, her job and the many people that she gets to interact with, and, and that just couldn't be farther from the truth. The reason that she's successful is because she is intentional about looking for referrals. She is listening to what we need as her referral partners, but she's also listening to what the people that she's talking to every day, what her clients need. And so then, because she's so intentional and she's focused on it and she's doing things on purpose, that's how it turns into business. And so there's nothing special about the job that she's doing. There's something special about the intention and the focus that she's putting on that. And any of us can do that. Anybody can do it. Also, ask for what you need and ask for what you want. I'm just baffled sometimes that people struggle and they're like, well, this is what I really need out of this group. And I'm wondering, why have I never heard this, right? Why have you never said that in a weekly presentation? Well, when we sit down in one-to-one, why have you never asked me for this? Because there's a lot of things that the group can provide, and there's a lot of things that we're willing to provide. But the last bullet here is don't rely on ESP, right? You can't rely on people reading your minds, and you can't expect that you're going to be able to read somebody else's as well. You got to open your mouth, you got to be intentional, you got to know what you want, you got to ask for it. So finally, don't spend good effort doing bad work. So let me explain what bad work is, first of all. This is a concept that I use whenever I coach kids, and it's not they're doing a bad job. They could be doing a really good job at doing bad work. So like I coach volleyball, and one of the things that I hate is when kids take the volleyballs, and while we're trying to, do volleyball practice, they take them and they start shooting them in the basketball hoops. That's bad work because there's no practical reason that you would need to be able to shoot a volleyball into a basketball hoop. And so they're putting forth effort, and sometimes they even break out in little like one-on-one basketball games, and they're putting forth effort and they're exerting themselves, but it's bad work because they're not learning the skills that they need to. And we see this all the time in business, don't we? Or even in our personal lives where we put a lot of effort into things that really don't matter, or things that aren't going to make us money, or things that aren't going to help us to meet a goal or make a connection or whatever it is. And so put your effort into things that matter. How do you know what matters? Well, you have to set goals. Look at some numbers. Set yourself some key performance indicators that are going to let you know if you're moving in the right direction, if you're moving towards your goals. If you don't have an eye on those things, then you have no idea if the work that you're doing is good or if the work that you're doing is bad. And then what more than likely happens is you're mostly doing bad work because you need to be able to focus and channel your energy into doing good work, which doesn't mean that you're always being successful or always doing it the right way or the best way, but good work is work that's going to move you towards your goal. You don't have to be good at it, you just have to be doing good work. It's really important to walk your talk, have integrity. That's always good work. When you say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working towards, and people can see you doing that, what happens is that people want to get involved in helping you to walk your talk and to be a person of integrity. So the more that you do that, the more that you're not just saying the right things, but you're also exhibiting and showing and doing those right things, you're going to find that you get a lot of support from people who respect that level of integrity. And then finally, educate yourself on best practices and follow them. And so we get a list of people who are doing the right things. We can see who is referring the most thank you for closed business. We can see who's receiving, a lot of thank you for closed business. We can see who's respected in the group. And so ask those people questions, interview them, find out what's working for you. How do you do what you do? When you when you're looking for continuing education units, like look in some of these books, listen to a podcast, find people that have been successful, learn what those best practices are, and don't just learn them, but follow them. The more of those things that you incorporate in your life, the better chance you're going to be having, the better chance you're going to have of always being one that does good work as opposed to wasting good effort on bad work. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Those are really the three key things, these quotes, right? Don't be successful by yourself. Lift other people. Find good folks to put around you who are going to challenge you and push you, and they're going to rely on you to challenge and push them also. Be intentional. Show up on time, show up on purpose, doing what you know that you need to do in order to be as successful as you can be. And then finally, use good effort on good work. Don't waste good effort on bad work. Know when you're moving in the right direction. Look at some key performance indicators like your traffic lights, your own personal goals. And if you do these things, then you like nobody can keep you from success. Like it would be impossible for somebody to hold you back. So hopefully this has been inspiring and maybe even a little bit educational for you. And we will see you next week.